look, I'm dead serious. It's gonna be my first episode.
What's it gonna be? I guess we can talk about that. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to episode 130 of Cali Brick Clique. And you already know, because you already found this on all your podcasting platforms. And if you haven't, then what are you doing? I don't know. Do better. Anyways, we have Claire and Shy, but joining us today, special guest Jean's version.
Hello.
It's been exactly a year we've been on.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. I think you came on like right after Brickworld, around that time frame, and I think that's how like we met was like at Brickworld, and I was like, hey, you're gonna be on next week, right? Are you still cool with that? And you were like down. So it's kind of like a little cool thing to do again, which I think it's also cool to talk about like Brickworld for a little bit, since the hype is still kind of there before people get sick of it by the end of the week.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm sure people who didn't go are already sick of it. They're like,
Oh, yeah,
we've seen it. We've heard you guys talk about it. We've seen the photos. But for those that aren't already overwhelmed by it, that's not true. Okay, good. You're not sick of it? You're not sick of it, Ninja?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
still
not sick
enjoying
of
it. It's okay.
I can keep. I mean, it's like the whole year is going to be like the next 6 months, like what happened at Brickworld, and then the next 6 months prior to Brickworld is going to be like pre-Brickworld hype, and until it happens again, it'll just start all over. But what did you guys think of the convention this time around?
Yeah. Go for
I mean,
it.
I think it was like a little less chaotic than last year.
Mhm.
God, it was weird to go like with the way I went into it last year, right? With not having a single clue about anything or anyone, and going into it this year, knowing almost too much about some people and knowing more in general. Just like I remember last year, people kept asking, "Are you ready for Brickworld? Are you ready for Brickworld?" I was like, "Yeah." What do you mean? And this time, people kept asking, "You ready?" And I was like, "I'm not ready." I wasn't ready for like the people, for the socializing. I was bringing builds, like small builds, but I was even thinking 2 months ago, like I'm not going to get them done in time, so I'm just not going to do it. And then 5 days before, I was like, "Whatever, I'll just start doing it." And it came out okay. And then I was like, "Man, imagine if I actually tried, or tried for longer." But yeah, that was different, the anticipation.
I had a very, very similar experience. Granted, like when I went last year, like I knew like a few people and stuff, and I had been in the community a bit longer and stuff. But this year, same thing. Like if you had asked me, "Are you ready?" And I wasn't like hyped like a lot of people where I was like a little overwhelmed, because you hear this person's going, this person's going, this person. It's like, and there's more people going than aren't going, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, how is it feasibly possible to see everybody?" And it's like a little bit overwhelming.
And it's not.
Yeah, it's not possible. It will not happen. And then I also decided like 3 days before we left, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to build something and bring it. And like went through the same thing. And honestly, that was probably the highlight, like with like a couple of my friends nearby. Like I think that was my favorite part. I felt more engaged for sure, and didn't feel like on a little bit on the sideline, if that makes sense.
It was better
Yeah.
bringing something, like even though I had like a small display, I got to share space like with my friends. I got to have a place to come back and chill and like leave things. And that makes kind of the difference, because you're walking a lot like around that convention hall, and you're talking a lot. And if you don't have a place to like sit down and just chill for a sec,
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah. I mean, like I spoke a lot. I mean, I already went into the convention like with a messed up voice. Like Claire and I were together the weekend before, and I had already lost my voice. So going into Brickworld already with no voice, my vocal cords weren't recovering at all. And I think I did 3 or 4 interviews, and all the videos, my voice was crap. So I am not looking forward to like hearing those back if I ever.
Who is interviewing you? What? Oh, is it for your mock?
Yeah, for the mocks. I think there's like
it.
at least 3 videos done, and then as well as the Brick Kings podcast with.
Got it.
So
dang,
oh, that's nice.
I just know that every night by the end of the night, I'd hang out in the lobby, and like just no amount of water could just like soothe it. I was like,
oh my God,
it's so dry.
Yeah, we bought so much water. I think like the vending machine sold out before even the last night. So a couple of tricks that I have learned that I will share, and that I learned from Josh from last year. Josh ended up like, he needed a few things like to, to keep him like refreshed or whatever. And so he ordered like drinks and stuff and food and snacks to the room. And I was like, oh my God, that's so stupid. I do that here all the time. So through Amazon, I ordered like from Whole Foods, like the snacks that I know that like because I have some like, dietary needs and stuff. So I like satisfied all that stuff really easily, like things I normally wouldn't be able to travel with, which was really nice. And then I got like a case of water. And it was nice when people come to our room and stuff, that we could hand it out. But the problem is we ran out of it too early. I should have gotten 2 cases, especially if I was going to share. And then let me tell you though, like 365 water tastes weird. Yes, I'm one of those people that like is particular about my bottled water. If I'm going to spend the time, energy, and resources of not investing, but like using up single-use plastic, it better be, damn good. And I was not a fan of the 365 water. That was my conclusion from Brickworld Chicago.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, your food and snacks came in clutch when I didn't eat them the day before. I'm like bursting in. I'm like, I'm hungry. Feed me.
Yeah,
I feel like I heard this last year.
I didn't have like fun. I had like macadamia nuts and like almond flour crackers and like a bunch of like fruits and stuff. And yeah, I think I fed more people than even I ate. But that's fine. It's like we had that stuff, which was great. That made things like a lot more comfortable because we didn't get a rental car this year. We Shy did, but like we decided like last year we didn't really use it that much, and we were like just going to Uber places, and it was fine. And honestly, it was fine because a few of our friends have cars, so it was okay. But then it's just kind of how do you get your reinforcements, I guess, like where do you get those things from? And apparently the internet can satisfy it, which is fantastic. So
I mean, I saw a lot of that delivery food stuff throughout the week. It was actually really interesting to see that you weren't the only one that did. A lot of people actually ordered stuff too, like
a lot of Uber Eats and
a lot of Uber Eats. You just see the person like come into the front of the hotel, just kind of wandering around, be like,
yeah.
I know it was really funny to see, but for the most part, I thought the convention was I had a great time, for me at least. I know there were some small hiccups, but for the most part, overall, I mean, it was a lot to consume.
I think considering how much bigger it was this year than last year, it could have been worse. And like I said, I think it was like slightly less chaotic than last year, but obviously, yeah, there's still the hiccups, and I think that's what's going to happen when you just get this many people, this many adult nerds, at the same place. It's going to happen.
I wonder if you and I both feel slightly like it was slightly less chaotic because we had somewhere to sit that was like behind a table. So like for me, like I don't really like huge crowded places. Like they give me a little bit of anxiety. So like on the main days when there was tons and tons of people, I was behind the table the whole time. Yeah. And I was like really strict about it. I was like, I'm not leaving here. It will give me anxiety. I don't like really big crowds. I don't like people. Like I used to be fine with it. I used to go to concerts all the time. And then I would like kind of get over it. And then the pandemic came and I didn't go to them for 3 years. And so my fears about it like skyrocketed. And so I was like, you know what? This is my safe space. Shy is right there. Lauren's right there. Holly's right there. We had like our little mocks. Well, Shy's isn't little, but you know what I mean? We had our little things. And so, but it was great. And then I would like, Sans was like floating around, and like, it was nice. Anyway, that made me a lot calmer because last year I was going and coming back through those crowds, going back to the room. You know what I mean? Like there, I was like kind of in my little like safe spot.
Yeah, you had a safe spot to go to.
Yeah, a place to hide and recover. Like you don't have to know.
But I could still engage with people. You know what I mean? Because like if they came by and they were like, "You're not Holly," I got a lot of those. Are you Holly? I'm like, what? I don't. Of all people,
you even know her? Like,
I was like exactly.
I mean, throughout, like in the beginning, there was have you seen Claire? I'm trying to collect her signature.
Oh, really? You got a lot of those.
Okay.
I got a lot of those. And Sans. But Sans was easy to point out because he's walking around with a yellow apron.
Oh my God.
But I don't know where Claire is at the moment.
I was wearing like either white or blue. I unintentionally packed all my clothes were like white or blue. That's it. I was like very nautical for some reason at Brickworld Chicago.
I mean, I was a lot less stressed out than I was last year. One, because obviously I didn't have my family with me, but like two, like
sure.
I wasn't making any content. So I would just build the mock and then just chill throughout the
Last year you were also a judge. That was stupid.
Yeah, I nominated, I didn't judge.
Right.
I feel like that takes so long.
Yeah.
So long.
I was watching Martin do it. I'm like, you good? He's like, I love this. I love this. I'm like, really?
I could see him being into that though. Yeah.
Well, he had the categories that I had last year, the 3. I guess it's like a chunk. Last year, it was difficult to see every single build.
When everything's like separated, they don't really keep them.
No. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the lugs don't help because you get to, you go with your own lugs. And then like sometimes, like for example, Chopper wasn't in the Star Wars category. It was mechanical.
He was in the freaking corner. Oh yeah, he was all the way. He wasn't even in Star Wars. My friend Elliot was a little pissed about that because he's like, I probably would have won, and Chopper won Star Wars, and I was like, calm down, you were nominated. Like
Yeah.
that's so hard.
Elliot's build is pretty cool too, though. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, very impressive. And
That was
he busted his like butt putting
Yeah,
that together for like 3 days.
Well, yeah, the homies were helping.
Roger and I forget
Roger
who else.
and Walter.
Yeah.
Veterans represent. But yeah, so like I wasn't as stressed out as I was last time. Like for only having to do like one real thing, which was like take an hour shift in the smallest Lego store with Ryan. I mean, that was probably the most chaotic thing I had to do because I had my control. But
Yeah.
I think the only other like craziness was that I was kind of bumping shoulders was the garage sale. Oh, and I guess the foosball table. But that was like I could just step away from the foosball.
Yeah,
table.
that garage sale was nuts.
Yeah.
That was like the anticipation for it, and them yelling at everybody to not bum rush the door when they were like opening up. Like
I'm gonna sound like such a
seen Macro get
condescending
kicked out.
jerk. Yeah, right now, but it was okay. Like, I guess let's paint a picture for Ninja since he wasn't there. So, like, they ended up last year. It was in this really small space. It was in front of the concessions, and a lot of people complained that there wasn't enough space for the vendors, and there wasn't enough space to walk around. So this year they did it in one of the like larger ballrooms. However, the way that they laid out the tables, it was space planning 101. Do not do. They allocated more space to the back of the house, essentially where the vendors were, more than where like the actual circulation was happening. So there wasn't enough space to turn around. And then they didn't do like the right counts in terms of occupation. So you have to be like, okay, like who's going to be there? It's going to be every single person that bought a ticket that's like not in the public days. So you have to do those counts. Obviously they didn't do that. And so they ended up creating this like island that you would have to walk around with with vendors on the other side. So both points of access to vendors were in the same like actual walking path. It's like the same circulation area.
Yeah.
And so you could quite literally not see the product because it was like 3 or 4 people deep. And to be honest, I think people didn't sell as much as they would have because by the time people like bought things and left and the second round of people could go see things, it was time for like to wrap it up and people had to go. There were a lot of people with a lot of stuff left over when it ended.
Yeah, it went by super fast. I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder if like because you know how they ran out of space and they added another 20 or 40 vendors. Like if they just would have not kept, how would it have been in that same space without those extra 20?
No,
Maybe that was smaller.
it was that dead space that was in the middle that was bigger than the actual space you could walk around in. That's
that
the
was a lot of empty
You're
space.
right. You're right. They should have made them back to back and then like literally not had that empty space. That does make sense.
Yeah, if they were worried about like people being able to walk behind the vendors, there was like a completely different way they could have laid it out.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I do agree.
It was a bit silly. I mean,
I wasn't
whatever.
looking for anything specifically, right? And it was like, oh, I'll just see what I find. But like, I just got so overwhelmed every time I walked in that I was like,
Yeah, last year I think we spent like $2,000. This year I spent $50
Wow.
because I couldn't see anything. And I was like, the shopping experience was like, I'm so elitist in the sense like if it's a bad shopping experience, I like can't get myself to do it. And I like bartering. I like kind of getting in there and like getting the right deal and they're like, oh, like how much is this? And then they're like, well, how much is your whole table? And they're like, this much. And you work them down. And so I love doing that. But none of that happened this year.
I feel extremely lucky that I found what I was intentionally just wanted to buy the entire time I was there.
What did you end up buying again?
Slave Leia.
That's it?
That's the only thing I want. I'm like, if the only thing I want to buy in this entire convention is Slave Leia, and I'm most likely gonna get her at the garage sale. I did see her like maybe once or twice, like in the vendors, but I wasn't gonna pay that.
Yeah.
So like, I was just kind of walking around and ended up pushed into a pocket. Like literally, I didn't intend to go here. I was pushed into a pocket, and I'm like, "Hey, I bought from you from last year." I look down, and then I see the entire Ghost crew in a minifig BAM pack, and I'm like, "Oh, cool! How much is all this?" And then it was like $125, and then I just so happened to ask, "Do you have Slave Leia, the newest one, the most expensive one?" And he's like, "Actually, I do." And like he pulled something up, so he didn't even have enough space to showcase that because if you were to look at it, that wasn't even visible. So he pulled it out, and I bought like it was like $1 something, and I'm like, I'll just buy all this for $200, and he's like, sure. So I was like, yay, win! And then I actually lost the headpiece for a second as I was walking out.
My God.
I went out of the garage sale, and I look at Slave Leia. I'm like, crap! I am missing her hair.
Where's her hair?
And I'm like, no. So then I like frantically go back inside, and then people are trying to pull me for my attention to like just to talk or whatever, and I'm like, I'll be right back. And then like I people like were almost stepping on it. It was like one of those situations where you have like those little like, you know, like you see a cartoon where you have a bug about to be trampled by a bunch of things. It's just bouncing around. I'm like, there it is. And I grabbed it. And
I can't believe you found it. And that was mania. It was mania.
Like someone in a wheelchair almost ran it over. And like,
Oh my God.
I didn't want to like say like, no, but I was like, no, I got it. And then I put it back into the BAM box, which I should have done in the beginning. And then, yeah, that was pretty much my garage sale story. But yes, it was chaotic. But I still think overall the convention was pretty cool. I like the fact that like, although I had my friends there, I had other people that was cool there. I got to meet so many new people, and I got to actually spend time like away, and chill with these people and to get to know them better. I mean that kind of happened last year, but here it was just like a never-ending sea of let's have a conversation.
Yeah, that's a big difference for me, definitely from last year to this year, is that I found that last year, like even though I didn't have sitting space, for example, because I didn't display, I was able to get away and have me time or alone time, or just like I need to stand outside. And it was like it's always really cold in the convention hall. Like, let me just stand outside and get warm. Let me stand outside and not talk to people. But I definitely didn't feel like I could do that a lot this year. Like just trying to walk to the door, I ran into like 5 people wanting to talk, and then from the door to like the outside door, and it was like just I guess from being in the community longer and people like knowing who I am from the last year, which was lovely getting to talk to that many people. But I was like, man, I'm getting my voice
There's
is
no
getting
rest.
no break, and
No
I'm
rest.
having to be on constantly. So
That's what like my wife Venus said. She's like, can you turn off for like a little bit? Because you have been on. I mean, like there was no like
Just like
chill.
chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she finally saw it the Sunday after we were hanging out, and where I was just complete. That's why I didn't really say much when we are like just in the pool. I'll just
You were dead. We were talking to you. We were talking to you, and you're just like a
yeah,
shell.
exactly.
You were a
I
shell.
had nothing. I had nothing of value to say to anybody.
yeah.
He's just like dicking around on his phone, and everyone's like, "Shy, we miss you so much. You're gonna leave," and he was just like deadpan.
Yeah, you're gonna miss me so much.
I know, right? I think for like Caleb's interview of Firebird, I think I was just reflecting because he did his his stuff like towards the very end of the conversation convention, and when I was like reflecting on the things that I said with his interview questions, I'm like,
oh, I sounded like an idiot. I was like,
I sound so dumb.
Yeah, I sound so stupid. Bad. I sounded so stupid. Yeah, same.
I was like, I put a lot of energy in like the ones like the 2 before, and I was like, oh no, I'm sorry, dude. But overall, I think it was a good time. I hope you guys go next year, even though you kind of hinted maybe not.
I'm thinking about it, right? I'm like, do I need to come again? Like, I know there's other conventions I want to go to. Like, I didn't get to do Cascade this year, and I really want to go, mainly because of the date. Like, last year it was March, this year it was May, and I was like, March would have actually been really perfect, but I don't know why they switched that. So, like, I'd like to do that. And I know there are, like, different months and stuff, but it's just, like, pick and choose, and, like, I don't need to be everywhere, which I almost feel like I did last year. Although, technically, like, I did Brick Slopes, and then I guess I did Seattle.
I mean, I'm gonna like my wife was like, you can go, but you have to cut back in a lot. And I'm like, so that means you're not coming? She's like, yeah, I'm not coming. So I can't get her. So 1, I might have to split a room next year, and 2, I can't get a rental car. So I think those 2 things enough should be fine financially. But she's like, you can't be doing this every year. So I have to kind of reflect on that too. With wanting to go to other conventions too, because I want to check out. I'm going to Slopes, fortunately, but like I want to check out Cascades. I want to check out, Con. I don't know about Con, but like Atlanta. Like I want to do Virginia because am I ever going to be able to go to those places if I keep going?
So yeah, I've never done Brick Fair Virginia. Almost went last minute last year, but I was like, no, I'd rather like go and actually plan it. So thinking this year, because like I kept hearing people say they were going to do Brick Fair Virginia. Like Lauren, I think, does it a lot, and Danny, she was like, Brick Virginia is next. And I was like, there's going to be people I know there. That could be fun. So I hear that garage sale is like amazing.
Yeah, they do a really good job. We're going this year as well.
Oh,
and nice. So the hotel like ran out of like spaces. And so I booked like something nearby. And then I was like, hey, Lauren, can Sans and I like stay on top of your head? And so like, it's kind of wild. Like last year we stayed in an Airbnb and it wasn't like super great, but honestly, it's like if you come, like you should still come, like not if even if the hotel is sold out, but like I like it because it's a little bit more palatable. I think Chicago is more fun because it's like bigger and the hotel is nicer and it's like there's this like space, like the lobby at the Brickworld Chicago Hotel is like a little bit more conducive for people to hang out in.
There's a lot of cool spots. There's
Sure.
pros and cons to all of that, right? But like,
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Brick Slopes didn't have it in the same hotel either. It wasn't the worst. And so me, Luke, and Martin hung out the whole time. Martin had a rental, and so Luke and I would just drive his rent. Like, hey, can we borrow your car and go do this? We have like a running joke that he was Father Martin and we were his kids. We were just constantly asking to borrow his car or asking him for rides. Like, hey, we're hungry. Can you take us to Chick-fil-A and get chicken nuggets?
Chicken nuggets.
Yeah, and same thing with Seattle. Like the hotels weren't nearby. I mean, a block, 2 blocks away. So I don't know. I guess Brick Rodeo in Austin, I think, but I didn't go last year. I think that's in the same hotel.
It is. We went.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
we went last year.
Yeah. We went to that.
So I think I'm officially out for Brick Rodeo this year.
Well,
Yeah,
it's in Houston this year, right?
It's in Houston this year. I was going to go with Emily and we were going to share a room because she wants to go. And then Ross isn't going because he's going to Blink-182 concert.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just spent 4 out of the last 6 weekends traveling or something crazy like that. And I was like, man, I'm ready to take a break. It's also usually in my birthday weekend, Brick Rodeo. So
yeah,
I really want to be at a Lego convention. I could be out on the lake getting a tan.
Yeah.
High tie. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Like I like them and it's really fun, but there are a lot. So I really wanted to like upload a video on Saturday and I was like really militant about it. And people were like, why? You're like missing like the convention and you're like doing all this stuff. And so I was editing in the room until like, sometimes I wouldn't leave the room until like 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah, you were
like,
gone.
But I did that. Well, first of all, like I'm also used to like traveling and working. Like back when I used to work a more standard job, I would still travel like crazy and then I would work most of the time, but then like I would do it so that I could still see things and do stuff at night. And so I was kind of, I don't know, something in my brain like clicked on in that mode that it was like, it's fine to do that. But also it actually like gave me my like alone time.
Yeah.
My solo time, which was like really, really nice with your group of friends. But because like you're in where you don't like, you might not normally have to be on, but even the con environment, even on the off days. So there were a lot of people that came before the official public days. And there were a lot of people that like, you know, I don't know personally. And so, which is not a bad thing, but they're not people that like, I would say like, I don't need to be on for, if that makes sense. So it's like still energy was spent.
Yeah.
You know, interacting.
Like me. That's why I was drained the entire time.
Yeah.
Overall, can you just say, did you have a good time or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you recommend it to other people to go to Chicago next year?
Totally. I had more fun this year than last year because Sans' great grandmother didn't die. So that was
that was a good
yeah.
That's a good thing.
Did Sans have a good time?
He had a great time.
It looked like he had a great time. I just see him running around with his yellow apron. Like,
yeah. Ryan's shop was really fun. Like one of the nights before, like 2 nights before the public day, I think it was Thursday night, I stayed up with like Ryan until 5 o'clock in the morning, like setting it up because like as he's like organize something, he's like the kind of person that like makes a bigger mess while he's like trying to fix it. You know what I mean? Like rather than
so
it's
not organized.
I spent like 4 or 5 hours and I like cleaned it all up for him. And because I have control issues and like a nervous tick when it comes to things that are disorganized. But actually it was quite nice because it was like really late at night and there's like a few people like walking. There's always people up at like all hours, you know, in that.
I saw Mark come with a Jameson, the owner of the CB whatever or CBO of Brickworld, just walking in with a Jameson at 2 o'clock in the morning, going towards the back.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was looking at the new Hashima time lapse.
Yeah.
And it was time lapsing like overnight also. And you knew it was like 2-3 in the morning and there was still like 2-3 scragglers like around their building or doing stuff. I'm like,
there were people there at all times. 100% all the time. Yeah.
Shout out to those guys though, not gonna lie. They started building Tuesday afternoon and did not stop till midnight right before public day.
I think they may have
put some finishing touches, but that thing is amazing, especially at night. So
I will give them some pretty serious criticism though, because they put the stanchions so far back from their build.
Oh yeah, it was kind of hard to see it.
You can't see it, and it's unfortunate because there's so much work and detail that's put into it. And I don't know, it's like when it's so far back, it's like, are you just doing that for yourself? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. That was,
You think it was like a safety concern for the back end?
I don't know,
Because
but
if
I
it's
know that they
over,
pulled their stanchions out so that they could be also within the stanchions, which doesn't make any, what?
oh, like they gave them their own like little
Yeah,
spot
that's
in there.
weird.
It's like
Yeah.
they
People
put their,
just wander in here in front of my gigantic build.
yeah, and like I'm not particular. I want to see the Lego. I don't want to see, like, don't get me wrong, I love knowing who the creator is, but like when I'm looking at a Lego, person who made it doesn't necessarily need to be standing right in front of it. You know, they behind it would be ideal, or like to the side of it. But I don't know. It's like you couldn't come
You
close.
couldn't enjoy it like you wanted to, and you're gonna have to rely on a Beyond the Brick video to be able to see it.
And I'm absolutely, that's not happening. Yeah.
So they told me it was about a 2-hour video or whatever. So and they don't edit it down, so you'll be able to see it that way. Which
What
still
do you mean
blows.
they don't edit it down?
Yeah.
They don't edit.
They don't edit it all. Yeah, is there? I actually asked that. I'm like, are you gonna edit it down? Like, we don't edit. I'm like,
Don't edit.
all
Stupid.
right, must be nice. But I do want to highlight the fact that going back to what you said with Ryan with his merchandise out, just laying about. I was telling a lot of people like just the positivity and trust within this part of that, because I had like 6 to 10 grand worth of stuff just sitting there for anyone to grab before public day. I did bring a blanket. Oh, I didn't, but like Lauren brought a blanket for me to cover if I felt like I needed to. And even at night, like I thought about it and I just didn't do it. I'm like, no one's gonna jack me, and no one did. And there's a lot of mocks out there with very valuable things on there, and like just no one touched it. I mean, I'll be surprised. Like it's easy to grab a 501st from like Elliot's bills, just swag one, and maybe he might not notice. Especially mine just so cumbersome and a lot of figures on there. You could take one and I wouldn't even notice. So, but like in my other communities, like the veteran community and like the bike community, that type of trust in the community is not there. I will never leave anything out and about like that. So I think that speaks to, who's mainly there, like for the most part, for like, the time that we're at.
Not a single one of your figures
that's
was
true.
taken.
Nope.
And you know for sure, like,
Nope.
I mean, you can tell, like, yours.
I can tell. It's very easily tell.
Yeah, you just said it's not easy, but I think it's pretty easy with yours the way it's set up.
Yeah, like the most valuable figs in my army are towards the front.
Mm-hmm.
So and no one touched them. So I think that just speaks to that type of love.
The community and stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that. I mean, I really personally am here because of the community. Like videos aside, I love making videos, but like I really like just
The
people, and like for me, I love all the communities I'm a part of, but it's a very negative thing, and I've said it many times. Like there's many times when I'm like, why am I even here? It's just like, why do I need to watch my back? Like, why am I'm dealing with depression, I'm dealing with like anger and all these other issues, but when I come here, everyone's all happy. So
Yeah.
that's the reason why like I really wanted to be out on the floor, be everywhere, talk to as many people as I can, and it really took a toll on my health for sure for the whole week. But
I mean, when are you going to do that again?
Exactly. You only get to do it like 3, 4, 5 days out of the year.
Yeah.
If you choose that one convention. Fortunately for me, I get to hang out with my friends like throughout the year, and I'm hoping we find a reason to do so again before the next one. But like you just don't know when, like Gene, when am I going to see you? Because if you don't go, then I won't see you next year at all. Or, I won't see you at another convention or whatever. So that thought's kind of depressing, kind of sad.
That is, right? Yeah. It's like, I'll see you in a year, and it's like, man, a year's like a long time.
Yeah, but it's not. A year can go by really fast. It did feel like yesterday that Chicago from last year just happened.
Yeah.
Before you know it, the holidays are in.
Blog.
Of course, that's true. But no, like, because I think Hype says it a lot. Like Lego in itself is like it eats our time, like so much, only because you're always looking forward to the next thing, the next wave, and before you know it, it's already there, and you're looking forward to the holiday wave from the August wave, and so you're always looking forward to something, and before you know it, it's already the next.
I thought you were talking about like actual build time. I was like,
no,
forever to build.
Like just the hype, because a lot of us are on the hype stuff, and like we see what comes out, and then like we see new builds or someone's or the building. Like if you're working on a mock, you're really just centered, focused on that mock until you're done, and before you know it.
Mock takes so long to build. Like just from building like little habitats to building like the helmets that I brought, it was like you mess one thing up, and it takes so long to put it back together. And like I was like, I need to be taking pictures as I'm doing this, because then it's like, wait, I want to do this new thing, but with that old technique, and then you forgot what it was. It's like so many times I just want to be able to like undo, like Control Z.
I think if you're doing it from scratch without using like a program to build your stuff, like it's a lot of trial and error. And when you, going back one is quite hard. That's also why I didn't like have anybody initially help me set up. I mean, there were like I had people like set up the mills for me, tear stuff down, but I had stuff made in a certain way that only I would be able to do it quickly enough.
Sure.
But the homies did come in and help me out at the very end when I was just like, I need help. I'll attach these together. I can't do it. But aside from that, Gene, a lot has happened as far as your life in the Lego community thus far since the last time you were on. You want to give us a little recap with what's going on in your life as far as Lego is concerned?
So around this time last year, Instagram, which is the main platform I'm on, I had 17,000 followers.
And now you're at,
I don't know, 48.
There you go. So you've doubled way more than that. Do you think it's because of the Lego, the Funko, the Star Wars, or pretty much everything?
I don't know. It's interesting you say that because at Brick Slopes last year, Martin and I did a presentation, how to market yourself on Instagram, how to market your Lego. And after like one of our presentations, and we talked about like whatever topics, like, hey, we had like categories up, like on a 9 grid, 3x3, so 9 squares a grid. And we had people pick. So it was like stories and DMs or posts or reels or security, except we had like funny titles for them. So people didn't know what they were actually about. But I guess a question that had come out of that was, because by then I had like 40,000 followers. And he's like, so you're like your Lego account now. And I was like, no, I would say that the majority of, and this is August of last year. I was like, I think the majority of my followers know me as a Funko account, or maybe even like at that point, like a Star Wars account, because I was posting so much Star Wars. And he's like, well, no, because if you had 17,000, he's like a super numbers guy. If you had 17,000 followers at Brickworld and now you have 40, that's over half of your followers who came after you started posting Lego. So maybe those people know you as Lego. So we did an experiment and I did like story polls, and he won. He was right. I will say in the beginning, it was like I was winning. It was like people know me for Funko. Like you see, like the people have stuck around super long, but then it did trend like towards Lego, and then Lego beat it by like kind of a lot. But I did get a lot of personalized DMs that were like, we stay for you, like whatever it is that you post, like we're here for you. Because some people are like, I don't even watch Star Wars, or I don't even like Star Wars, and I just follow you because you're cool, or because you're my friend, kind of thing, like a friend in the community, in the nerd community. So I don't even remember what the question was.
No, you asked us like what?
Oh yeah, the outside looking in.
And then
yeah. So
Martin.
Yeah, and then the polls and stuff. So I don't know. And similar to what I talked about on here last year, it was like, hey, as I get new things in, old things are going out, kind of thing. And so I've downsized a lot, but I don't know, like, okay, last year I had like 320 Funko Pops. Right now I have like 200, maybe a little over 200. But
okay, that's a good way of measurement, right? Like Lego's gone up in your inventory as before, obviously, and your Funko's gone down. So,
yeah, but not my Star Wars Funko Pop.
Obviously.
So I cut in other areas, and also because I'm like, well, I have Harry Potter Funko Pops, Marvel, I had Disney stuff, and I'm like, well, I actually would rather have like Disney Lego sets or Harry Potter Lego sets to enhance my displays than Funko Pops. So it's kind of like I'm cutting Funko Pops in other areas. I had pops that I never even displayed anymore, like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Love the cartoon, but I was like, you know what? I don't need my fandom represented in Funko Pops for this kind of thing. So,
I see you as a Lego person now.
You do?
Well, to be fair, like if I see a lot of your stuff that you post, the lifestyle stuff in Star Wars, your bags, posters, shirts. But I mainly like hold the Lego in my my as opposed to, if that makes sense. Like I
think that says more about, doesn't that say more about you though? But like, to be honest, as to like what's resonating, because like I like when I see Jean's account, I think she's like very well rounded, right? And like this is us talking about you while you're here, I guess. But you know what I mean? Like I think I don't know. I just think it's more interesting. And I also have seen a lot of accounts mirror what you're doing in terms of like the fandom thing. And I think there's something valuable there because I know a lot of people have like kind of built their following specifically on Lego, and it's quite like niche and narrowing a little bit when you want to like work with other brands and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of value in terms of doing other stuff. So
well, because it's just like being nerdy and talking nerdy stuff is like a big part of my life. Like I just like having these nerdy discussions about movies and like discussing lore and discussing characters and the psychology and why do these characters mean so much to me. I like reading the books, like the Star Wars books and stuff like that. And so, yeah, like I would say I fandom. It's just like whatever. I post whatever I want. I don't know. And it's kind of always been like that, right? I had Funko Pops and I wanted to take pictures of them. And I also had lightsabers, when I first started my account. I just thought I had cool things and I wanted to take pictures of them back when Instagram was mostly pictures. And that's why it started. And so Lego coming into my life was just kind of me taking this page along that journey. Like, well, this is what I'm into right now. So, and I've started like mock building, like this is all like bulk Lego. Oh, I went the wrong way. Like, yeah, that's like bulk Lego behind me. That's not even all of it because I need to sort like 10 pounds of it that I still have in another box.
Good luck.
But like it's fun now. And it's like when I had left Brickworld Chicago last year, I don't think I said this, but I left so inspired and I thought, like, wow, if something doesn't exist, I can build it. Like I could probably, it would look really shitty, right? But I could build it. I could try to build it and I could buy pieces to try to build something like it, but the limitation is like the talent, the brick or whatever. And it's, is Lego ever going to make a Breath of the Wild set? I don't know, but hey, I can go and make my own Hyrule castle kind of thing. And so that's kind of how I always think about it. Like, now, do I do these things? No, they're time consuming. And then, I also want to build Lego sets and then I create content. Plus I have a day job. But, I didn't expect, I think, to fall in love with Lego as much as I did.
I mean, like, I could be wrong, but it does seem like Lego, in comparison to the other fandoms or like the other niches of like, Loungefly, lightsabers, Funkos, it does seem like Lego is significantly more expansive. Like, you can buy the sets, you can build the sets, you can take the sets apart, you can, you know what I mean? You can do your own mocks. There's like, and there's also the collector side of things where it's like buying the older versions and the access to the information that we have because of like Bricklink and there's like mini.
I was like, I'm never going to collect CMF. Those are just weird little characters of nothing that mean anything to me.
Yeah.
And then like I went out and bought them all because they were early and now I'm like, I have attachment to them.
Exactly. And it's like, you know what I mean? And then also the hobby itself is so vast that like your interest within it can change rather than I feel like with Funko, it's like basically what specific fandom are you following or collecting at that one point? And like obviously lightsabers are lightsabers, like what can you do other than like buy the lightsaber, play with the lightsaber, take photos of the lightsaber?
Like I remember last year at Chicago, people were like, do they have like conventions for Funko? And I was like, what are people going to do? Like, hey, this is what my 10 Funkos look like. And the person next to you has 20 of them, 10 of which are the same ones. It's like, there's not really anything like that. It's a unique thing for Lego. It's a art form. It's an art medium. That's what I mean. And it's also, it's a reputable company. They've been around forever. They kind of, I don't know. This is probably me being a little salty, right? But like I've been collecting Funko since like 2016 and Funko never ever reposted my picture when I did their picture challenges. They never ever asked like to work with me. They never like recognized me. I was just never like a big enough, like they have this stupid thing called Fanatic of the Week. Again, me being salty. It's not stupid. Fanatics of the Week, very awesome that they get highlighted. But I was like, I would submit my stuff and I wouldn't get picked or stuff like that. And I just didn't feel like appreciated by the brand. And then like, here I am like 1 year into Lego and like 7 months into it, I get approached to apply for the LAN. And it's like, whoa, that's cool. Like somebody out there in a Lego room is talking about me or my presence on the internet from, like I said, a reputable company, not like a stupid 15-year-old company that fires its employees for no reason.
Lego does that too.
Well, the thing is that Funko went public in like 2018 or something. They've just been like running the company like to the ground since then. They've owned Loungefly since 2016. And I feel like recently in the last year and a half, Loungefly has also kind of gone a little bit down that road. Like for a while there was separation and it was good, but now it's in that same realm of like overproducing, repeating characters when, I don't know, creative stuff. I don't know. It's just too much going wrong with Funko.
Soul LAN.
LAN. Yeah.
So no, I'm congratulations for getting on land. It's a it's a great thing. I'm not like gonna dog you for doing it for being a part of it. I have no problem with the program, but what do you think it's gonna? How do you think it's gonna impact your content?
I don't see my content changing other than when it is that I have to post about these press kits that I receive.
Yeah.
Right. And as far as like, I don't think I have to submit I think I have to submit a report, right? With feedback, with like, hey, I posted this and here's like the stuff that I got. But I don't think that like I have to like specifically tell people this is everything. I can make a 10-minute video and tell you everything I thought about while I was building this set kind of thing. It's just like I don't know. I'll probably post a picture of it looking cool the way that I post pictures of my Lego sets and then talk about my experience, which I have done that sometimes. When I talked about building R2D2, I was like, man, this set sucked to build. And when I posted this, the UCS X-Wing, I also wrote in the caption, like my experience about building it and stuff like that. And I do get feedback like via comments like that too. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting, right? We'll see what happens come. I don't even know what embargo is on everything I have right now. I don't know how anything works. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't.
That's a fair way to put it. No,
Just enjoying the ride.
I can accept that answer. I mean, it's the fact that like because a lot of people would want to get in land, right? I can name a lot of people that were like wish they would be a part of the program, but then it's like, what are you going to do when you're in land? Like I think that's like one of the questions. Like, what value do you offer the program, and what do you think like the land can offer you? And I think a lot of people just put in like reviews or think of reviews and things stuff like that without thinking about being creative, without thinking about making it interesting, about like not having to build a set, like all those like factors, like, but no one really thinks about how it's going to impact, especially if you're like a content creator on any platform, how is it going to impact what you showcase on a daily? So and I think if you want to continue on that route, I think a lot of people who watch people like on these platforms can they assume that you're just going to be another shill. That's like the negative part about that, right? When in reality you don't have to look like that at all. You can just say your piece if you say your piece, or just show it. That's pretty much it. You don't have to actually
because I mean the only thing is like, hey, you can give your opinion on whatever after this date, like your public opinion on it. Like I can't tell you right now what I thought about whatever. So it's like I don't know. I mean, LAN accepted me, right, because of what my community already is. Like, I don't think they want me to change. They don't want me to turn into a review channel. They don't want me to start doing long YouTube videos. They saw my existing presence on the internet, on Instagram, and they were like, this is good. And that's what you're going to be adding here. Is there room to improve? I mean, as you just said, you're like, what do we have to gain from each other, right? Because those are literally specifically questions on the application.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, what do you have to gain from us? What do we have to get from you, kind of thing? I don't know. I mean, probably one of my biggest worries is like, I cuss a lot and I'm very direct with my boundaries with my followers. If I have a problem with people and I see patterns in my community, I'm going to go on my stories and talk about it and be like, this is okay and this is not okay. And I was like, I don't know, am I going to be reported for telling somebody that they can't be leaving me comments like that I'm so beautiful, or I don't know, like just whatever I do a boundary on, or for telling people that they're messaging me too much, because I try to be available to people in DM all the time. And some people take advantage and they see that I read a comment and they're like, oh, well, let me reply again. And then I read it again and I heart it, and they see that I hearted it, and then they reply, and I'm like, okay, like calm down. And I'm the kind of person that can't leave a message there unread. Like I hate that. And it's like, that's demanding too much of my time. And so I called people out on my stories and I was like, hey, be mindful of people when you DM them. Like, is what I'm DMing you of value? And, so I was just like, is this going to be frowned upon by LAN? Like, is somebody going to report me and say like, she was a bitch? It's like, it's not like when I applied, I changed anything. And like I said, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just going to continue to do what I'm doing. And with the stuff that they send me, try to integrate it. And, it's going to be such I feel like, small part of my community. Like, I'm not trying not to accept everything, although I think I already failed a little bit. I'll decline the next few.
Lego. It's like, it's hard. Like, well, I mean, I got to do something with it. And I think it can be overwhelming for some people, especially if you accept an entire wave and presume that you would have to do something individually for each thing, as opposed to just like, yeah, hey, this is what I got, this is what they are, all that kind of stuff. But you kind of briefly touched on it, but like you're on other platforms now, and LAN can help you spread load that content into all these other places as well.
That's true. I have a YouTube channel that's very inactive. I'll tell you, making YouTube videos is hard. Y'all put in like the Lord's work. And it's the thing that it's like, hey, sure, I can record a whatever 5-minute video, load it in shitty quality, but I don't want to do that. And I want to at least like do something and like make what you're watching like be valuable. Like if I rambled on for a minute about something stupid, I'd rather cut that out, kind of thing. And so, but I am on YouTube. I'm on Twitch, and I would say, at least for live stream purposes, I love the Twitch live streaming experience. The community, the Lego community on Twitch, so welcoming, so incredible. So that's probably where, like, if I live stream any of the new builds, like for content for the LAN, that's probably where I'll be doing the live streams. I still haven't figured out the TikTok thing. I have 11,000 followers, and I don't know what people want from me. Like, all these platforms want different things from you. And I sort of know what it is they want from me, but I don't have the time to create these specific different things for all of them. So I let my focus be Instagram. And then, like I said, I'll take my live streaming to Twitch. And occasionally when I have this long form content, post the YouTube videos, and then post all the short stuff to YouTube Shorts and TikTok, and then
see what happens.
Wish for the best. Yeah.
Just throwing in the wall. I mean, YouTube is hard. It's not an easy thing, but there are people that win regardless of the quality and how long it is. So this podcast definitely has showcased some of those highlights. I will say, with going with what Twitch says, because I feel like I perceive myself as the anti-Twitcher. But I will go there if you guys are there. As far as like the community, I definitely felt that at Chicago, because all the people who are on Twitch who I've come to know, being on my friend's streams or whatever, and then
those people are fucking lovely.
They're great.
So
I mean, they invited me on a group photo of just the Twitchers. I'm like, I don't belong here. Like, no, just chill. And then after I took the picture, I just stood in front of them. I was like, come to YouTube, and I ran away. But I do see like the support for each other on Twitch. So I will on here admit the community there is great.
Yeah, and it's something that like I was told was there, but I was like, what? Lego on Twitch? Who? It was intimidating and welcoming, and they want you there, and they want fresh faces, which is, a little different than some experiences I went through last summer where on Instagram, people were like, no, we don't want you on Lego Instagram. Like, go make your own separate Instagram account for Lego because you post Funko, and you can't just buy 5 Lego sets and then add Lego to your biography kind of thing. I don't know. I haven't seen any of that on Twitch. And even if you get the occasional person commenting, asking like, whatever, if you have some super old retired sets, and I'm just like, no, I've only been building Lego for a year, and nobody's mean about it. Nobody puts me down for it or thinks I'm a less of a fan for it. So it's kind of just like, hey, this is me. Honestly, this is me raw, and this is my experience. And I'm not going to try to pretend to be something I'm not. I posted, right, like, because I got my Star Wars wave, the August 1st wave, while I was in Chicago, and I didn't even know if I could post about it. And I was asking TK, because I was like, you posted about it, so I assume I can post about it, right? And he's like, if it's up on the website and you receive it, you can post. You just can't post an open box, or the instructions and things like that. It's like, okay. So I just kind of threw up a picture. I was like, well, let me just post that I got these sets and that this is coming. And actually, like, I was surprised by the response. Like, a lot of my community was like, oh my God, you got these. That's so cool. And I can't wait for these sets. And I can't wait. Like, I guess I don't know what I was expecting, right? But yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. It's nice to feel the love from my community. And I don't mean like the content creator community. I mean like my community, the ones that are there because they're casual Lego fans who want to buy like the mechs for their kids kind of thing. Or
there is a fear of like what your community with is. And I think that you're very confident about your own, who's supportive of whatever you do. So it kind of shows, since you're transitioning to Lego, that you'll be fine by the end of the day. I think that's pretty much for the most part. But now, I mean, a lot has happened to you in a year. Like, what do you think your goals are for these next upcoming ones?
I don't know. I've never had specifically growth goals. I don't have any goals to be the first to post something about a set. Like I know that that's maybe sometimes why people want to be in land, to be the first to get something, to be the first to post about it. As soon as embargo goes up, like post that video, hit send. And I don't have any of those kinds of ambitions. I don't know. Is that bad? It's just like,
No, that's actually cool. Like, Claire tells me to do stuff all the time. I'm like,
yeah. And I mean, you know how many times I've gone to like, oh, let me do a quick little, not like a vlog, but like a 1 minute reel of like, let's go to Target and hunt for Lego, or let's go to Barnes & Noble, or like I went to Lego store and actually filmed like a horizontal video, like to do a YouTube video. And then I just let it sit there on my camera roll for weeks. And then it was like irrelevant. And I was like, oh, well, you know, it's not, content's not my priority. And obviously with press kits, it's going to have to be like to some extent because of all these deadlines and things, but it's also something I promote like to my community is like, hey, be smart about your purchases. These sets cost this much. Maybe you want to save that money, you know, like to when you can make your money go further kind of thing. And my community does come to me like, and they find my opinions valuable. So I just want to continue to do that and be honest. Now, a thing where I think it could be a negative is that because I'm still so new to Lego, you know, it's been a little over a year. A lot of things that Lego does, I'm still excited about. I'm not like, oh, it's another UCS X-Wing. I'm like, sweet, this X-Wing looks freaking cool.
I'm going to cut you off. I have never had a dark age. I love Lego. There are times when I did like pull away from it just because I had a social life and was building a career. But there's not a single thing that they've done that I am upset about. Like it's also like kind of like an emotional maturity thing in terms of essentially agreeing to not let yourself be reactive of what a toy company releases.
Wait,
and just
you
like
were
let
mad
it be.
about the Tumblr?
And I thought it was hilarious.
Just like if you don't like something, don't buy it. That's always just been my
No. So the Tumblr that he's bringing up is I bought the retired Batman Tumblr, and then the next day they announced that they were doing the new one, and the new one is like essentially the same thing and just new figures. And it was just like I wasn't upset at Lego. That's not Lego's fault. That's like me making a bad investment decision, or like me. I still wanted those old figures, and they still went up in value. But like that's on me. I am in control of my own emotions.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, why have a hobby if you're gonna like hate it? Like if you're going to hate things about it, if it's going to bring negativity in your life, I think I have control over my feelings and my emotions. Anyway, my point is, if you do, you probably will never be upset about stuff. There's certain things that like irritate me a little bit. Like I'm not happy about the price increases. That's like, well, who's going to be happy about spending more money? Nobody is. And sometimes like some of the gift with purchase, like I wish like the ones that was supposed to be released for a specific set, like the timing stuff, but I also am like, whatever, I can also wait a month and then get said set. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't.
I refused to buy Rivendell when it came out because I was like, I already have that Brickhead. So I'm not going to get that again.
We don't have it yet because of
and
that.
Now I'm like, I still don't need it. When am I going to build it? Especially like I said, the last 6 weeks I've been traveling. I wanted to buy it during double VIP and I didn't. And I'm like, you know what? Right now my priority is actually Diagon Alley because I think that's retiring soon. So
yeah, and exactly. And you know, there's going to be another double VIP. You know, there's going to be another opportunity. It's like these things aren't finite and like it happens. You know, like
I just know that if I'm like, I keep looking over there because like all the sets over there, like Yoda, the new little Yoda Starfighter. Oh, I was actually, that's one that I was going to buy. That I would buy, you know, but I got it and I was like, I know I'm going to be excited about it. I know I'm going to like it. And if I review that I'm excited about it and I loved it, it's just going to be like the old one was better. It's just a re-release and you got it free. Of course you love it. You know, it's like, can I just genuinely be excited that I got
you cannot.
I did already have?
No. Yeah, if you don't have negative commentary, then your commentary isn't valid. That's going to happen.
Like those, I was about to give opinions and I can't. So
you're going to get that stuff, but I think and then there will come a point, you know, where it's like, I know you like set the boundaries and like call them out, but there will be like a time where like that is time that you also give to said person. You know what I mean? Calling them out is like
it's not worth my time. Yeah,
exactly. It's still like a self-sacrifice in like some form, you know, of doing it, and like just a moment of thought of said person, even just to talk back and maybe that time comes, but you're not there yet, obviously. And you still
like I have a reel right now that's getting a little traction, and it's where it was like a low effort reel. It was just like the first person you tag has to buy you this set, and it's the UCS X-Wing. And yeah, I've had several comments, and they're saying that the old one's better, or I have the old one. Why would I get the new one? Kind of thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have learned to like ignore them, but if people do have something, I'm just like, hey, cool. Like I genuinely, not in a sarcastic way. I'm just like, oh, that's really cool that you enjoyed building the old one better, or that, it's just,
Yeah, like no, it's fine. It's fine for
and
people.
maybe
Like,
they see my comment and see that I genuinely wasn't hateful, and they're like, huh. I've actually had that happen, and then like they follow, and I'm like, oh look, I thought they were mad at me because I posted the X-wing. I don't know.
Or like, you never know people's tone. Like maybe that person was trying to be like, hey, don't waste your money on the new one. Save a little bit more and get the older one. It's better, or something like that.
Yeah.
But of course, like, because they don't know how to articulate themselves, like it doesn't come off like that.
Okay, having a therapist and anxiety meds helps a lot.
Yeah.
With the social media stuff, I don't know where I would be in the last year and a half if it wasn't for my therapist and my anxiety meds.
Social media is rough. I think that's a totally separate conversation in terms of like who
mental health
be online or who shouldn't be online, and it's like what the sacrifice you take or give when you post any part of yourself on the internet. I think that's a lot for sure. But anyway, I mean, you're doing a great job. It sounds like you're really happy with it, and like,
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, like people are always like, because like we have a lot of friends in land, and so they'll be like. And we have a lot of friends that are no longer in land, from their own doing. And other people will ask me like, should we join land? And to be totally honest, the answer is like, I don't see why not. Like the answer is always yes. Like there's no reason not to. Like if you have the capacity to like why would you say no to support from the company that you already support? Like why would you say no to that? Like if you're capable of managing it. And like for the few loud community that are like, I hate land. Well, you're like a grown man who's like upset at a toy company. Like I think that you need to check yourself. So I don't know. That this is my soapbox, which is like totally independent from Jean. Anyway, I'm so sorry that I used you coming onto Cali Brick Clique to like voice my opinion, but
it's okay.
But that happens, and like people think that, and they might come at you with it, and like I think you're more than ready to like deal with that garbage.
Yeah, Emily, I would say has been a pillar of help, of advice with all of that. Like she talked to me a little bit about it last summer, and I was like, I wonder if I should try to apply for land. And I instantly pushed it out of my mind. I was like, oh, that sounds dumb. Like, what do I have to give? What do I have to offer that isn't already there? Plus, like we're in the same area. Like, why would they, accept two people in the same area? And plus Jeff told me like, yeah, it's hard if you want to apply and be the Star Wars person to get these sets. Like these Star Wars sets are like highly sought after. And, so I was like, well, I was like, I don't care. I really don't need this and stuff. So like I had pushed it out of my mind until like they had approached me in January, and I was like, I hadn't actually thought about it, but like, if you think I could apply and maybe get in, okay, I'll see. And I actually did. Like, I was like, well, I don't, Star Wars doesn't need to be my focus. Lego Star Wars. It's like, I like other Lego IP, like Harry Potter is up there for me. Marvel, I guess I don't have a lot of Marvel, but I would like to. Disney, Lord of the Rings, I love the cabin. I love stuff that can make my house look cool.
Yeah, you just touched on like 11 things, like 11. There's plenty. It's like, you like Lego. You're at that point now. It seems like, so like a year ago when we were talking, you're like, yeah, I'll get maybe this set or that set or this set or that set. But now you've got some bulk Lego, and now you've got some like other stuff. So theoretically any set can be bulk Lego, and you're mocking now. So yeah, you're in that space that we're at where it's like, man, I like every Lego. Like, like there's everything.
If I get to build it, I'm totally happy.
Exactly. I want to see you do YouTube because it's like the
fact I was gonna bring that up
because you were like,
that's the thing is that I posted like my first 2 YouTube videos for the sole purpose. And I even said out on Instagram, I was like, I feel limited. Like sometimes I had real ideas, and I was like, I'm limited to like this 90-second thing. And then I'm like, well, okay, let me try YouTube. And now I'm just like, it's so difficult to put some together quality content. And, Shai helped me with, I think was my second video, right? And I was like, look, it's fine. I'll just throw it up and it's okay if it sucks. And he's like, well, don't just like push out shit content if you think you can do better. And I was like, wow, Shai, I thought you were just going to be like, yeah, throw it up.
No.
There's definitely like a middle ground, right? So it's like there's a whole ideology. Like we talked about this before. There's like the idea that like you could, just like you need to get some confidence to just like putting stuff online, right? But then like I think the problem lies in the fact that if you recognize that it's not good, you're never going to be happy with it. And so if you're saying like, hey, it's really hard to do YouTube, hey, like I don't want to put anything out there that's crap. The fact that that there is a possibility of how to do it well, and like maybe you have like a sight of what good and bad is, then that, I don't know, that gets me excited because I'm like, cool, that means like you have, maybe
control.
and not potential, but like an eye for it, which would be really cool to see. And the thing is like, I'll be totally honest, like the YouTube space, as far as like female creators, is very empty. And it is like, it's like, there's like, I don't know, maybe like 10 that are like, you know, having any kind of movement. And so I think it's always a space that needs more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
Well, so like,
yeah.
So one thing I think about that's not even content related to YouTube is if somebody sends me a YouTube video and it's blurry and low quality, like the video, I'm like, oh, like this, I don't want to watch it. So even if I am just going to be sitting here kind of talking to you about whatever my opinion or vlogging about my day, like I want it to be clear, because I don't enjoy watching somebody when they're all like blurry and lagging and stuff like that. But then the second is, the you know, I've filmed 12 minutes that I cut down to 5 or 6 for that top 5 favorite Lego sets thing that I did.
Yeah. I have filmed 2 hours of footage and I cut it down to 3.5 minutes for my last video. So like,
yeah. And it was me playing it back and just being like, that's a little bit of a ramble. Like, is that even interesting? Like, is that even funny? So, you know, like, yeah.
You're critical. That's good. That's
It's
a
good.
I at least know I can look back and be like, is that interesting? Or is it? And I mean, I've had to do that with There's sometimes that I used to ramble on stories, and now sometimes I'll just record it on my camera and cut it down and then just piece it together and then post it to stories, because I'm like, too many too many pauses, little bit of a ramble, you know, like it's, unless you have like a script, I feel like it's impossible. So I don't know.
I would say that short form content creators have a really good advantage for making long form, because you're able to be concise.
Yeah, there's like an element of that. So it's basically like taking like 5 of your reels and like putting it together or whatever, you know, and like you gotta, or like 8 of them to get an 8-minute video. I think what's really neat is that like, I don't know, look, I mean, obviously, like you have a real job and a real life, and none of these things are worth sacrificing to like make YouTube videos. But I don't know, it'd just be really neat. It's always, Shy and I are always on here being like, make YouTube video. Like we're kind of like
yell at Twitch.
We're like we're a broken record a little bit, so I think we're a bit predictable. So I'll call us out on that, I guess.
Well, we have to stand up for it when, like, you know, Sheen's double streaming, or when Nicole is double streaming and no one's on YouTube. I'm the only one there, like, on my lonesome.
There was like 5 people on YouTube, right? Or like 10?
Yeah, but I was the only one talking, and I'm like, I guess I'll go on Twitch and talk over there. And then when I get over there, like, Shy.
I kind of hate that I can't dual stream anymore, because it's like some people would come to YouTube, like, you know, subscribe from the live streaming. So now it's like, well, now I can only get subscribers from Twitch streaming.
But I mean, like, I think you have your own brand, and I think, you know, I, like myself, I will go wherever you go. You will have a lot of people that will do the same thing.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
Platform. I just want you to make more YouTube videos and watch our content.
Oh my God. I just need to. Room tour is something that I keep promising people. That's like the most highly requested thing.
Oh, for you, that would be so neat, because it's not just like, oh yeah, I think that'd be really fun.
Well, and it's not just this room. Like there's a living room out there, and the posters are cool, and I have so much to say about them. I'm like,
yeah,
how can this just be one video? So
I think it'd be really cool to like see, like, I don't know if you get into mock building and like you can be like, oh, this is like the worst idea, but like, you know, you're inspired by so many different things, like the posters and the like Loungeflies and all that stuff. And I get also inspired by like a lot of other things. And like for me now, the phase that I'm in, which is probably why I'm projecting this on you, so just like caveat right here, but like I'm really wanting to do mocks from things I'm inspired by, and it would be really cool. Like behind you, like there's all these like neat scenes. Like I know crapola about Star Wars, but there's stuff that looks really cool that would be really like neat, like in a mock form. And I don't know, it'd be nice like I think that would be a really neat video to be like, I have this thing and I love it and it's really cool, and like, you know, now and I did this like mock out of it or whatever. I don't know. That would be some cool stuff, because you have this unique side of things that like you share your other fandoms along with it, and it's like that nobody else does that, and I think it's really neat.
Thank you. No. That is a good idea. I mean, and I haven't had time to, like, even the helmets. I wanted to have more helmets, like all of Sabine's helmets for Brickworld, and it was just like I have all this travel like almost every weekend leading up to Chicago kind of thing, and it's like when all these ideas. So that's why I'm like, I'd rather stay that weekend of Brick Rodeo, and like I said, like I need to get all this shit together to do the freaking room tour video. So
and you got to do your new sets and like, you know, whatever content you're gonna do with that. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it's a lot. You've got a lot on your plate right now, which is like really exciting though. It's like,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. And then like it's hopefully, you know, I know you said like you only had like 8K growth like in the last like, you know, 11 months or whatever it is, but who knows? Maybe it's like, maybe now is like the time that like you use your new resources and like do whatever shift you need to do to like keep growing, even though I know you said you don't have any like specific goals, but just from a creative perspective of like what it is that, can get you there or whatever would be just neat. But
Yeah.
if you're following like what you're inspired by, I think a
Yeah.
lot of
Like-
creators say that too. You know what I mean? Like I do what I want because of what I'm inspired by, and people love that.
Yeah, I was just thinking back to that. Like, I don't think I really answered Shai's question about like, what are your goals? And it's like, do I have goals? I don't know. I guess I don't totally think about it that way, right? It's just I kind of take it like what's in front of me, like a little bit at a time.
Do you think
to have fun with
do you think a big element of that is the fact that you do have like your full-time job, you have your life, everything? This is the space that's supposed to be fun and relaxing and whatever. And it's
100%. I think that has a lot to do with it. Is that like for a lot of people, the Lego creator space is all that they have, and they rely on it so much. And like, if something happened to Instagram and the United States decided to ban Instagram tomorrow and, suddenly, like I wouldn't have that platform anymore. I would be fine. It'd be kind of sad, right? But I know where to find most of my people.
Truth.
I think the amount of brain capacity that it takes to like strategize growth and redirection or whatever needs to happen to do that, it's a lot of brain energy, which you're probably giving to your job and your real life. You know what I mean? So it's kind of picking and choosing. And I guess, I don't know, like now that you have this commitment to land and to getting like these sets out or whatever, brands you work with, that's probably like where that set energy is going to end up being allocated to, simply because it is a commitment and you've made that commitment, and you are still aligned with like you still have to do your job. I think a lot of people forget that. And the thing is there are like people also like in the program that this is their full-time job, and so the expectation should be different from them. Like Emily and Ross, it's their full-time job. Like my expectation of Emily and Ross is different than my expectation from you as like a viewer. You know what I mean? So, and which makes sense, but I think a lot of people don't know that, and they compare people that are in different scenarios, different life situations, and they pass said judgment via the comments. And now we're full circle talking about haters.
Well, I mean, it's they don't. It's simply because they're ignorant to the fact that they are people, as opposed to getting entertainment from someone that's on the screen. That's why a lot of people in the film and TV industry go in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's not so different with the content creator side. There is a limit to. I mean, everyone's human, so there are a lot of things that will affect us all differently. But for the most part, it's just this can be a stress in a very negative way.
Yeah.
So no goals. Going back to that.
I mean, yeah, I guess like there's things I want to build, right? So in terms of like mock building,
there you go. That's something.
Yeah, but that's not like social media goals or things like that or anything.
Like I want to mock more. I want to create this.
I do want to mock more. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Is that after last Brickworld, I left super inspired, and then I didn't really do anything. And then I went to Brick Slope. Same thing. I was like inspired, and I didn't do anything. And I was like, I just need to get out and do stuff. And I think I did a habitat challenge around Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God. And that's, again, it's just like building, just putting in the work, just doing it, just sit down and do it. That's what inspires me. And like, I had a lot of fun with those Christmas habitats. I kind of regret taking them apart. Somebody was like, oh yeah, you should have brought them to, I don't remember what convention I went to at that time, but same thing. And then I procrastinated because in December, I was like, I think like signups went up for Brickworld, or was that January? I don't even remember, for Brickworld. And I was like, I'm going to do the Sabine helmets. And then I started, and then I was frustrated, and I left it sitting, like I said, until like 5 days before the convention. And I pumped the 2 out in 4 days. And I was like, man, if I had just, and then I was like, man, I want to build something else, but I'm committed to these helmets. I hate building helmets. Like, why did I choose that? But they look really cool, actually. Like when I built the first one, I sent a picture to Martin, and I was like, Martin, I can put this on my shelf with my Sabine Funko Pops, and it looks cool. I don't know.
That was the standard. No, that is the standard. You're like, if like the aesthetic works on the shelf, if it makes it to the shelf, then it makes it to the convention. Yeah, I like that.
So now, like, I do want to finish the rest, and hey, I might still go to a convention in August, anyways. But that's kind of like, I'd like to have a Sabine helmet shelf. That would look really cool. So builds. I want to build a chopper. Nothing like the one I saw. And I actually wanted to build a chopper before I even saw that. I want to build a chopper to scale with like the little one from Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, would that scale?
Like BB-8?
It would be similar sized, I think, but technically R2 Canon is like larger, or
Yeah, it's huge.
Chopper's larger than R2. So I wouldn't do that, no. And it wouldn't be fun. It would really mostly be a sculpture, I think. Like it wouldn't move. But I just want to have a Lego chopper on my shelf.
I mean, that's a good goal. Building more, I think it's what the company wants. They want you to build, not just buy the sets. They want you to break it down, build something new. That's definitely within the mission. So if you're doing that, I think that's an obtainable goal. Just, for a YouTube video, just film it. Film the process and then make it an interesting video.
In 4K with 60 FPS, right?
Sure. Sure. Depending on how you want it to look at the end of the day, it will be the way that you film and edit it. But for the most part, like most YouTube gurus would say, just film it, just point and shoot and record, and then you'll work on getting to what you should be doing as you're more comfortable with it. So in the future, you'll get to the point where you're like, I want to storytell in this way, and this is how I'm going to do it, and then you'll do your process. But for right now, I think just early on stages, just get used to just recording it, and whether you use it or not, it's on you. I like to save stuff that I've recorded, and I tend to bring them up 2 years later. So,
and I mean, similarly on Twitch, right? Like the community is so fun and so supportive and so engaging that I feel bad that I don't have the tools ready for them. Like, because like if you go to Bricks O'Brien or Amish Ace or Panfret Nudo, yeah, you go onto their stream and there's just constant like shit shooting across the screen, or like somebody says you have to dance Gangnam Style now, so now they go and they have to get up and dance, or
that's
now
Fred.
they go and they have to build with a mask on. I want to be able to offer a not to that extreme, right? But little things like that like somebody can redeem things and I have to do something, or they type a command and something cool can come up on the screen. I want to be able to offer that, and I feel like I'm failing them, and they're all so sweet, and they're like, no, we love what you're doing. We're here for the ride. And that's part of what makes me so happy about the Twitch community.
So
that's another goal.
Also, those guys like have been around for a while, and they didn't start out like that. No. And also, like those redeems for them make sense, like with who they are and stuff. And so, like I don't think anybody else can do what Fred does on Twitch. Like, I'm
not going to do the Macarena right now.
Yeah, exactly. And like, but I do think that like, but
that's true, Shy. That is a goal, and I do keep talking about it on my Twitch that I was like, I swear, guys, once I'm done with traveling, I want to figure out OBS, and I want to figure out all these redeems and things like that. I'm traveling this weekend, and then I swear I'm done.
So I was on Twitch for like a little bit, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into it. And I had very few of those things. And if it was like, if you're just true to yourself and stuff, you'll have like a really strong community that's like surrounded by it. It like doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's like, I think we had this thing called Mockumentary, and like Tech and I would get on there and we would just like build mocks, and then we would like share like other mocks that people would use the hashtag for, and like we would all talk about it. And to be totally honest, like Tech and I know nothing about mocks, but our viewership did. Like a lot of the people that watched Mockumentary were really good mock builders, and it was like hilarious because like we were hosting it, and then 90% of the time we got absolutely nothing done, and we would just like shoot the shit. And it was, I think we were averaging like at one point like 50 viewers, and like on Twitch, and it was, without us really trying, and it was just so much fun. And I think like, but Twitch and like the way that it's set up is that you can slowly also add those redeems, you can add that stuff, and it's like, I think it's also a nice surprise. But anyway, I mean, it's because of Twitch that I like did my graphics, like my little modular graphics that I now have stickers of, and those are all the graphics that I use for my YouTube videos now that are doing well. So it's just this like full circle thing, which is like kind of nice to like think about, that like every time you switch platforms, you kind of learn something new, and like you teach yourself OBS, which is like kind of, I don't know, I really like it. I like kind of getting into a new software and like kind of like fighting my way through it and looking up YouTube videos.
It's intimidating, and I'm like, I feel old.
No, but it'll keep you young. It's neuroplasticity. It's going to keep your brain young. And so,
I'm sure my husband can help me figure it out. Like exactly. When he's like, I cannot believe my wife is streaming on Twitch now. He was literally like, he's been on watching Twitch forever. He's a gamer, And so he's like, I tell people you stream on Twitch now, and it feels so weird. I made fun of him a couple of years ago because he bought like 10 Twitch hats because they were on sale or something, and he just gave them to all his groomsmen. Oh yeah, it was like when we got married or something. I was like, oh, you're such a nerd wearing your Twitch hat. And now he wears his Twitch hat. I was like, you don't even watch Twitch, and I'm on Twitch. I want a Twitch hat.
Yeah, you should wear your Twitch. Yeah, you should have his Twitch
Take
hat.
Take his Twitch hat that's all sweaty and sandy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny. Like because of YouTube and like the Lego community and stuff like that, like, yeah, you get on Twitch or you get on Discord and you get on this software. And then I go like hang out with like my friends who are like, are not from the Lego space. And they're like, have you guys heard of that company Discord? It's growing really well. Maybe. And, you know, they're like viewing at it from like, you know, jobs and investments and, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, they're so far removed from it. And they're like, I'm not really sure what it is, but people say, I'm like, well, let me tell you what it is. And it's
I
like,
literally moderate like a few Discords too.
yeah, but it's just like, they're like, how do you know what it is?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. And it's just so funny because like I have friends that like will ask me the questions. It's like, it's crazy because they're the same age as me, but they're like so far removed from social media. And like the second you step away from it, it does age you like in a strong way. And my friend was like, Claire, it's so weird when I go to like my Instagram and I go to my search page, it's just half naked dudes and beavers is in the animal. And I was like,
An animal.
I was like, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know. Like, don't ask anyone like in public this. Like, and she was like, what is wrong with my Instagram? And I'm like, dude, it's just showing you what you've searched for and like what you've been clicking on. And so like it's you. And so and like she didn't realize that it was like she's like, wait, it knows what I'm like clicking on and then it follows patterns. I was like, yes.
Oh my
and
God.
I was like, also when you ask that, you've basically told everybody around you that that's what you click on is half naked dudes. And so
Cold-blooded.
My Instagram's explore page is all like Taylor Swift.
yeah, mine's like cats and like restocking videos of people
On your Lego one? It's just
Yeah.
weird because I'm like, why is it Taylor Swift on my Lego page? Like, that's
Well,
not even
because
what's-
do you watch, so like do you look at a lot of Lego?
I think
Like,
people.
on your
No,
Lego
well,
page?
I guess other than people I follow, not really.
Yeah, same. So it's like, and I personally like don't. I used to follow like a ton of Lego accounts, and I don't actually like following a lot of Lego. That's a different conversation for a different day. But like, I get inundated and I get tired of it and I get exhausted. And I don't even want to be part of the hobby anymore. But that's a different thing.
You
Yeah,
see all the
Yeah.
Taylor
yeah.
Swift.
Here,
like-
here, I'll show you mine.
I mean, it also doesn't help when like all the Swifties, including myself, post something about Taylor Swift and you click on it because a lot of us like Taylor Swift.
people send me a lot of Taylor Swift stuff too in DMs and
Yeah, so then you click on it and then it thinks
so
that
much Taylor Swift. Like
it's a lot. I mean, she's
Isn't
Mine's
there
like a
Taylor
lot of like
Swift
mine's like a
Lego
lot of wedding
crossover
stuff because we
stuff?
just got married. I think so. too.
Uh-huh.
I don't even want to show you what's on mine.
I don't want to know. Oh no, I've got Lego on here. I've
Question.
got Lego.
So goals.
Whoa.
You have a few now.
Is all this getting
I
cut
will
out?
just say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'll
I
just
was
say-
saying, I mean, yeah, I have creating goals, not necessarily like metric goals.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like on the space. I think like as a fan, as someone who loves like Lego, and as you evolve as you know someone that's in the fandom, I think it's always cool to kind of see where you want to go, especially with you know things getting expensive. People want to get more creative. You go to conventions, you see all these cool things being made. You know it. Having something to kind of like, I just like to be goal oriented sometimes on some things, and I'm always curious to see where people align themselves to their own, just so to see if it can affect me in a positive way or anyone else that's also listening, which is the reason why I asked that question. That being said, is there anything else you guys want to bring up or say? Do you want to plug anything?
I want to plug my Twitch, but that
Yeah.
feels weird to do on a YouTube.
No, I was going to ask you how often. When do you go? What's your Twitch schedule? That's the perfect time to let people know.
Yeah, so right now it's Sundays at 11 Central in the morning and Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Central. I don't know. There's Brick and Brood on Instagram who kind of tries to get a streaming schedule out. And I was just like, I want to stream when it's like the least amount of conflict so that people don't feel like they have to like choose. Obviously, I want people to like hang out. And I like Sunday mornings and it's just like a chill coffee time and it's a chill crowd on streaming. So right now it's Sundays and Mondays.
Shout out to Brick and Brood for doing that.
Yeah, seriously, that's a labor. And then, the usual stuff on Instagram.
There you go. And YouTube. Why don't you plug YouTube? Come
I
on.
do want to, I think if I start with baby steps, like
And
push
and
out
YouTube in
a
the
monthly
future.
video. Like a video monthly, a video every 2 weeks, and then, try to do a weekly video. I think I don't see myself ever doing more than a weekly video for YouTube. But yeah, I do think, like I said, once the traveling slows down, like I want to pump out a video in July, try to do another one in August, and then see how it goes.
Look, another goal.
What, you guys are just helping me like write them all out.
Shy's dragging
Yeah, I'm
him
so
out.
inspired.
Yeah,
Shai's
right?
like, is this a
Yeah.
teaching moment?
Kind of person that's like, if you ask me on the spot, like, tell me about yourself, I'm just like, I don't know anything about myself.
Yeah, same. I'm like, literally the only thing I can go to is like, I'm an architect. It's like my entire personality. It's so pathetic. I'm like, there's so much more. Like, there's so many things I like more than that. It's like,
when people are like, what are your pet peeves? It's just like, you suddenly forget everything about yourself. Like,
yeah.
So that's why when you're like, what are your goals? I'm like, I have no aspirations.
I guess the spotlight with that question, I think that kind of makes sense. All right, my bad. I'm sorry. I probably should have worded it differently.
You like those existential questions. And on that note, thank you, Jean, for coming on. Let's roll that music.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Bye. I was trying to hit it like 4 times.
I know. You're doing so badly.
Sorry, I'm still tired.